So I thought this is going to be interesting. Are you guys familiar with all of the handhelds that are coming to the market? You got obviously started with the Steam Deck, and then we got the Asus ROG, a bunch of different ones, and then we had that blockchain one that we talked about, the SUI Play XO that's coming. But now we have a big player in the game. And this big player really has a chance to completely destroy everything we've worked for so hard in the Linux space that Valve has really powered down. But Microsoft is planning to release a handheld for 2025 and then a new console in 2027. So Microsoft is developing a new Xbox-branded handheld gaming device set for late 2025 alongside a next-generation Xbox console planned for 2027, according to Windows Central report. So we have the new report here if you want to take a look at it. So it says, here's your first glimpse at Xbox next-generation hardware plans, and some parts are being executed more quickly than you might think. The Series X and S generation has been a bit of an odd one. Microsoft's Xbox console hardware sell-through has declined quarter over quarter for some time, but Xbox's addressable monthly active user base has been skyrocketing. Now, do you guys know the reason behind this? Right? The reason behind this is because they have Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox Game Pass works for PC gamers as well as Xbox consoles. And the important part to understand about that is that with the skyrocketing in popularity of Twitch.tv and, to be considered a serious gamer, you're going to be playing on PC. Well, if you can just get that Game Pass on PC and get all the Xbox games, obviously that's the way to go. And that's probably the direction we're going to head more and more and more and more, just by nature of essentially subscription services being extremely popular, right? And hardware becoming kind of ubiquitous, And that's what makes this strategy probably extremely important, is because you'll have a handheld device that has access to your Game Pass games. Right now, you can only access Game Pass games through either a Windows-powered handheld like the Asus ROG, and it's very clunky in my humble opinion, or if you're on the Linux side that has the Steam OS that's pretty smooth and stuff like that, you have to use a workaround where you're playing the cloud version, you're streaming it from the cloud. Cloud's not quite there yet, especially from a latency perspective. So that was owing to the purchase of Activision Blizzard. I mean, obviously part of that, I think, it's a fair point to say also they have the World of Warcraft subscriptions now, which is going to help immensely. I'm wondering if they're going to combine that with like the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. That would probably be a pretty important thing to do. Says Microsoft has been putting its exclusive console games like Forza Horizon 5 onto PlayStation to help grow the profitability of its business. In the near term, addressing users where they are is far more cost effective than what Microsoft would need to spend to acquire new Xbox console users potentially. However, the strategy has been questioned for the long-term damage it might do to Xbox console hardware. Microsoft appears keen to continuing servicing its legacy Xbox audience with new hardware regardless. And over the past few months, I have been working to figure out exactly what it might look like, and here's what I've learned. First up, Microsoft is working with a PC gaming OEM, either Asus, Lenovo, MSI, or Razer, on an Xbox-branded gaming handheld, surprisingly slated for later in 2025 if the plans are met. Now, if we had to take a guess on who it's going to be, MSI already has a handheld. Asus already has a handheld. Lenovo has their Legion handheld. So the only one that doesn't have a handheld yet is going to be Razer. So I'm going to guess Razer. And make sure you guys head on over to Twitch if you're having issues viewing. Is everybody on Twitch still viewing just fine? All right. There we go. So this device will likely serve, at least in part, as a research experience for Microsoft. I expect the handheld will test new Windows 11 device aware. I expect Microsoft will leverage widgets on the Xbox Game Bar on PC for controlling things like TDP and fan speed, while hopefully having more streamlined OS experience for controller use. But of course, existing PC gaming OEMs will benefit from these efforts as well. But the research will also help with Microsoft's further out plans. Because indeed, our sources also indicate that Microsoft's internal successor to the Xbox Series X and S platform has been fully greenlit all the way up to CEO Satya Nadella. I always forget how to pronounce that. But for now, I understand that Microsoft's next generation hardware plans include a premium successor to the powerful Xbox Series X alongside its own Xbox gaming handheld, which will be apparently 2025. It says here, though, that apparently it will be 2027 as well. I don't know which one it is for the handheld. I've heard reports of 27 and 25 here already since we read it. Says it seems that the next-gen Xbox consoles will be closer to Windows than ever before, reducing the amount of work developers have to commit to when porting from PC. I understand that they will continue to support backwards compatibility with legacy Xbox games too, however. A project team specifically designed to promote backwards and forwards compatibility for existing Xbox games has been previously announced as well. And there's every reason to presume AI will have a role to play in next gen as well as Xbox cloud capabilities. Now, I don't know if you guys have messed with the AI in the latest frame gen from NVIDIA on the 50 series. I was planning on maybe doing a video on it because I think it's content worthy, especially even if it's the crypto space, AI does play a part in that. And the frame gen AI is pretty miserable, in my humble opinion, as far as like the latency is absolutely awful. And the accuracy from a visual fidelity perspective is pretty bad as well. So I think dedicated hardware is still going to play a huge role within gaming, just because I don't think that we're quite there with upscaling technology, especially in a competitive gaming scene, right? So your Call of Duties, Counter-Strikes, Rocket Leagues, that sort of thing. I just don't think it's quite there from a latency perspective. Some chat is asking, do you think this will be an AMD device? Almost positively will be an AMD device, primarily due to the fact that AMD's just leagues ahead in the onboard video graphics, and the successful handhelds to date have been implementing, of course, the AMD hardware. And I think from a handheld perspective, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there is a certain amount of exclusivity that Nintendo has for the Switch with NVIDIA on their handheld devices. And so I think there would be a competitive issue there that probably, let's face it, AMD on the mobile scene is better anyways right now. That's just the way it is. Technically the upscaling technology from NVIDIA has better fidelity, but FSR4 came a long way. So there is that. Let me know what you guys think about this. I think I was pretty bullish on Game Pass until I started seeing the results of that in practice. And so we saw this happen with Netflix, and I probably should have seen it coming. I missed it. But what we saw with Netflix, for example, is what's happening in the gaming space with Game Pass. We had initially high quality traditional content provided in an ad-free manner for a subscription service that you could stream into your home. And then they started kind of creating their own content. And at first it was pretty high quality. And then it became more about quantity over quality. And now Netflix is just flooded with a ton of shit, right? And I'm starting to notice that trend on Game Pass in general. So when Game Pass first came out, what was that first game from Bethesda? Was it Bethesda? I think it was Bethesda. No, not Bethesda. What's that other RPG one? Because this is important. Because I have, there's a specific thing. What was the name of, Avowed, right? So Avowed, so Obsidian, which is a great studio, released initially when they got taken over by Microsoft. They released a game called The Outer Worlds. And The Outer Worlds was an amazing title. And so it was available on Game Pass, extremely high quality, a lot of fun, good storytelling. I was like, yes! But I didn't realize that we would follow the way of Netflix, and now we got Avowed. Now, for those of you that haven't played Avowed, it's not a terrible game by any means, but it is extremely stripped down when you compare it to even The Outer Worlds. Just less things to do, less things to interact with, less physics in the game world. This is the route that we are taking further and further, and it has me a little concerned with the direction that gaming is going with subscription services, even to the point to where now I have, by and large, canceled all of my subscription services, and if I want a game, I just buy it. Because what are the best games that are coming out recently? They're games that you pay full price for, right? Or are free to play releases, right? So, because I could say Path of Exile 2, right? Monster Hunter Wilds is the most recent release that I'm playing a lot of. Those aren't coming out on Game Pass. Everything that's come out on Game Pass has been substantially stripped down compared to the previous version of that game, right? Stalker 2. I loved it at first, and then as I played it more, I realized it didn't have the depth that the original Stalker had. Same thing happened with Avowed, just didn't have it, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with like where the Game Pass is headed and all of that. I think from the perspective of like where I would like to see it go, like with the Sui Play stuff, is the Sui Play is going to be really interesting from the perspective of ownership over titles. And I really want to see where that's going. Okay, so chat is saying that KY rug pulled. I don't know how that, let's see. So give me evidence. So I'll go to CoinMarketCap first, but everything's down. So I don't think I'm going to be able to determine that necessarily. It does have the big dip that everything else had. Trade Ogre's at 8 cents. But what did they do? How much is it down overall? 30 cents to 8 cents? To me, it just seems like another one of those deals. I'm going to always say you can only make so many people millionaires before someone realizes it. Just saying. Just saying. Another BitAxe miner did hit the jackpot with a Bitcoin block. A BitAxe, a low-cost open-source Bitcoin mining device, has successfully mined another Bitcoin block, demonstrating the potential for small-scale home-based mining operations to compete in the Bitcoin network. This event is where a miner using BitAxe hardware found block 887,212 with a hash rate significantly lower than the network's difficulty. It has sparked discussions on the viability and impact of solo mining with minimal resources. The block was mined with a share of difficulty 719.98 T and far exceeding the current network difficulty of 112, highlighting the extraordinary luck involved in this achievement. Now, for all of those that are not informed on this in particular, Bitcoin has a difficulty that scales with the amount of hash rate on the network to keep the block times down to the 10 minutes. And basically, a blockchain will speed up or slow down depending on how much hash rate's on the network. And if you have like a lottery device or something like that, you're basically competing with everybody else. And so you're essentially playing the lottery. These devices have gotten extremely popular. To me, it's the mining equivalent to a meme coin. And so I'm not a big fan of it. So essentially what I'm saying is a BitAxe is essentially a meme coin on the Solana blockchain for miners. It is the thing you do if you're not a serious person and you're not actually trying to be successful within cryptocurrency mining. It's fine if you want to buy one for fun. That's the way I see it. It's not for serious people. Okay? It's just not. It's not. We have 2 miner releases for the week. SRB Miner released 3 days ago, adding support for the 9000 series GPUs and increasing performance of the RX 5000 series for Walla Hash, Cryptix Hash, Nexel Hash, and Asterix Hash. We also have a release from Rigel Miner, adding miner efficiency improvements for Zealous Hash. And this is Rigel Miner version 1.21.2, and it was released yesterday. I have yet to do any particular testings with any of these particular miners, but if you have, let me know in the chat if we're seeing significant improvement. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.